done this before, like one of these, but I watched Guru's video about this. I think I actually just realized because I went to go search to get that video set up. Like I wanted to have the video set up because I'm going to obviously watch it and react to it. And I went to MMA Guru. I think he's live right now. So it is what it is. But yeah, so I watched this video and after watching it, it was one of those things I was like, all right, so I have to watch the whole fight. There's no way to there's no way to react to his video without watching the fight again. So I did. So I just watched the entire fight. Like I just watched it front to back. Like I finished it 5 seconds ago. So yeah, I have some thoughts for sure. I have some thoughts about that for sure. And yeah, there was I don't know, if you ask me, what's the most important thing, to get correct or incorrect, right? Like, it's like out of all the things that he said, what's the most important one to get correct? I would certainly say how the fight finished, is, the strikes to the back of the head versus, versus them being legal strikes. And I'll just say in advance of any of the other stuff, you know what? I'll say it. We'll wait for everybody to get on because we'll do this whole thing. Let me pull it up here. Oops. Here we go. Yeah, we'll get this all prepped or whatnot. What's up, guys? Yeah, so yeah. So Guru did a video saying that Marc Goddard was essentially that Marc Goddard rigged the initial, maybe not rigged, but reffed in Kamaru's direction, helping Kamaru Usman, right? So his video, I watched his entire video yesterday, but the reason why I watched it is because, Dan Hardy and Marc Goddard are responding to the video directly. And apparently they did this 90-minute video about it, which candidly, so I watched his thing and then I watched the entire fight. It didn't require a 90-minute response. He didn't make enough claims for it to require 90 minutes. You know what I mean? It's like he made a few claims. It's like, one, why is Goddard, fist bumping Kamaru? He's never seen a ref do that. It's like, okay, so you respond to that. It's like, I'm stepping on it. I'm just trying to talk while you guys come on. I'll tell you this. I did a video about Sean O'Malley yesterday. Guess who watched that video? Sean O'Malley. What's up? He sent me a message about it. I'm glad that I spoke positively about him. I'm just going to start this thing because the video is pretty long. So we're going to jump into this and I'll walk you guys through my extraordinarily educated opinion on this because, like I said, I watched his entire video and then I watched that entire fight front to back literally right now, just right now. I finished that fight right now. So let's go.
I wanted to make this video today because, one, Kamaru Usman is fighting tomorrow night and it's an incredibly relevant video. And two, because I've seen so many people mention some of the injustices that went down during Usman versus Covington 1 at UFC 245. But I've never seen anyone make a full video piecing them all together. So that's what I'm going to do today because this needs to be done. There was a lot of problems that I had with Covington versus Usman 1. The referee, in my opinion, was extremely biased towards Colby Covington. And there's a lot of examples that I'm about to show you in today's video. And we're going to go through them start to finish, including, in my opinion, an illegal finish. Maybe for the first time in UFC championship history. I believe Kamaru Usman technically illegally finished Covington in round 5 of this fight. Let's start straight away here at the beginning.
Man, it's gonna be
I've
hard.
never seen a referee do this before. Yeah. Okay.
It's going to be hard for me not to jump ahead, but I don't want to I don't want to say anything about each of the things until he talks about it. But
Colby Covington getting ready in his corner, doing some little sprints back and forth. I've never seen a referee do this during the announcement ceremony of both fighters. Kamaru Usman getting ready in his corner, and what does Marc Goddard do? Quick little handshake with Kamaru Usman before the fight. This is nothing, but when you put it together with everything else that went down in this fight, and I think I'm going to show you later on as well, it's very strange. And Usman gives him a little smile and a look like, yeah, a little handshake before. I've never seen a referee come over and shake a hand of a fighter.
So on this part, I have no insight into this whatsoever. Like aside from the fact that I could say that it would be extraordinarily unsurprising if Goddard and Kamaru are friends. I can't say, like, I've actually never paid attention to whether or not the ref, I mean, obviously, what's his name? Buffer always goes up and, fist bumps the fighters. But I've actually never really paid attention to whether or not the refs do that. And I will now, just because, I'm kind of curious. But yeah, I mean, it's if he went up and fist bumped him, I think it's pretty straightforward that they're probably like friends, which is certainly notable going into the fight, I guess.
During the announcement ceremony of a title fight. And what does Marc Goddard do after this? The camera cuts away and he goes and stands in a neutral corner. He doesn't go up to Covington. He hasn't been up to Covington this entire time. He just goes over to shake Usman's hand and then goes and stands behind Bruce Buffer. Very interesting. On its own, maybe nothing. The first time I've ever seen it in UFC history. But with everything else that goes on in this matchup, I'm going to show you today. 8:58. Let me find it quickly here. 8:58. We go to the groin shot conundrum that went down between Kamaru Usman and Colby Covington. Let me take you back to where the
so on this one, well, I'll let you
impact of the groin shot happened. And this is, of course, a very tense moment where Covington was doing very well against Usman. He was landing some pretty big shots. And we see this kind of cuff the guard of Usman. But in reality, the impact of this shot to begin with, where did it land to begin with? This shot landed around the belly button area of Kamaru Usman. I don't know how high up the groin of Usman.
Okay, so pretty straightforward. He's saying that Marc Goddard jumps in here for Kamaru for a perceived groin strike that was not actually a groin strike, which is true. But, you got to say like, okay, so are we talking bias refereeing? Or are we talking Kamaru Usman full of shit? You know what I mean? Like, that's pretty straightforward. It's like, so, there's not like, there's no like, I don't know. Like there's nothing to indicate that like Marc Goddard knew that he hadn't gotten hit in the groin. I guess let me say this in advance. There's some of the stuff that I agree with. I actually agree with MMA Guru on, and some of it I don't. And actually I could show you guys in one in particular. I could tell you exactly what happened, which is not included in his video. It doesn't make it right. Actually, I mean, it's actually still kind of wrong, but I at least know why Marc Goddard did it. But this one, yeah, it's definitely not a groin strike. Like, it's just not a groin strike. So he's right about that. He's right, actually. I don't really know if
his stomach bloats all the way out.
It's definitely not.
He has a bit of a delayed reaction,
but it's pretty
and realizes
close.
He's hurt himself, and the fight gets stopped for a second, and Usman gets a chance to recover. We go to 15 minutes and 40 seconds in the fight as well. Now, this is a weird one. I agree with this one being stepped in for, but it's weird how quickly it was done. Usman's been having some success against Covington.
Let me just say this in advance, too. In this part, like, this is where Colby, like, kind of eye pokes Kamaru, and Kamaru, goes like this. the key, one key thing that I didn't hear him say in this part is Kamaru had been whipping Colby's ass in this round, and then right here Colby turned it around, lands this like when Colby lands this head kick, lands a couple really good shots, like really rattles Kamaru. This was a huge moment for Colby because Colby had been getting beaten down, and this is right when he turned it around. Like this wasn't a back and forth moment. It was like Kamaru was putting it on Colby, and then right here, Colby lands his head kick and then lands the other strike, and then, does this eye poke. You'll see.
Covington starts having some success against Usman with a head kick that lands around the back. And this is important to say what happened before the foul happened from Colby Covington. He lands a head kick perfectly on Kamaru Usman's head. Wobbles him a little bit, but Usman snaps back on. He's good. It's not a wobble. He just got hit with a good shot, and he sort of recalibrates himself. Gets back into action. They both tag each other with big shots. Covington gets a much bigger reaction and stumbles Usman backwards a bit because he's just hit him with a good head kick as well. And then he throws out this fist, which doesn't do anything. The head kick misses, but Covington throws out this afterwards. Now, this is a curved finger punch, kind of. Okay, and it lands in the eye of Usman, who immediately recoils away and then starts putting his hand over his face, and Covington starts trying to follow up. But the quickness that Marc Goddard sprints in here to stop this, the immediate speed that Goddard is in there, a second after Usman just barely.
So here's my issue with this claim. And again, let me just come back to this. There is a big claim that he makes that I am on his side on. It's not till the end, but it's the most important one. But a lot of this stuff, I just look like when I watch it, it's like, because all of the announcers in the fight agreed that this was an eye poke, right? So the question is like, why is Goddard, jumping in there so fast? Look, dude, like if I'm Goddard's attorney, I'm going to be like, so we're bagging on him for doing a good job. You know what I mean? Like essentially, like, because if a guy gets eye poked, yeah, you should want to jump in there as fast as possible, right? So again, like I'm just taking each of these things individually. So you got like the kick to the groin. Yeah, he looked like he faked that kick to the groin, but it was so close that it's like, I don't know, like you can't bang the ref for that. And then this one, it was an eye poke, so you can't really bang the ref for jumping in. But I think what his point is that like the difference between how he reacts for Usman versus Colby, and we'll get to that in a second.
Covers his face with his hand after what could have looked like a punch to Goddard. He immediately sprints in there and stops this from happening and separates it. And the weird thing about this is Usman starts pandering to his other eye, his right eye. The left eye receives a little finger from Colby Covington. That's what really happens. But Usman starts complaining about his right eye.
So again, if the question is Goddard, intentionally rigging this for Colby, that's a different question than is Kamaru Usman open to, down to like juke a fucking fake eye poke because he's getting rocked. You know what I mean? Like those are two separate questions. Because certainly one of those two things happened for sure, right? Because if I don't know about for sure, but it looks like he grabs the other eye. It's like, but and the groin strike was not a groin strike. But I don't know if we're seeing like Goddard being biased or Kamaru just kind of, pretending like he got kicked in the groin or in the eye.
That's the main complaint he has. And I don't know about you guys, man, but this is acting. This to me is just simply acting from Kamaru Usman. This look he gives. Oh, what? Oh, it's so bad. Oh God. Like, oh, I can't see anything.
No. Yeah. This is the question I understand. And I'll show you exactly what happened there.
You know what I mean? It's like when you're at a party in school and someone tries to act drunk, you can just see it. It's not natural. So we go into the replay and we see eventually that You know, they're checking out the right eye of Usman. But in reality, the thing that landed from Colby Covington, if they go to it after this, I believe, hopefully they do. I think they're about to show a replay. Oh, no, here we go. We'll go to the replay here. Colby Covington lands like little fingers in the eye of Kamaru Usman. If we go back here with his right hand, his little finger lands
his fingers
to
are
the
out.
side of the eye. It curls up into a crunchy ball, but the little finger has landed.
I mean, it's an eye poke. Like, it is an eye poke.
In the eye of Kamaru Usman, but it's the wrong eye that he's complaining about, and the speed that Marc Goddard jumps in there afterwards from what...
Oh, let me actually say this real quick. This is an important note. It's a really important note. None of this matters because the MMA guru can't lose this now. Like, he can't lose. There's no like losing this for him, which is, I meant to say that at the beginning of this, which is just like Dan Hardy and Marc Goddard could come out with like a 6-hour documentary that goes minute by minute, second by second, and outright prove that Goddard was definitely 100% not being biased. And guess what? The more thorough their video is, the more guru wins. Like, it's just that simple. Like, it's just, there is no losing this at this point. He can't lose. So, like, you know, going through how this actually happened or whatnot is all kind of like, it's all like side information. You know, he can't lose. He literally can't lose. So if I disagree with him on shit, it's not me. Like, if I disagree with him, I'm just adding on to his W here. You know, like, there are certain people, there are certain people where if they say something that gets a bunch of negative feedback, that can be an L for them. That's not him. Like, if he makes a claim and it becomes a big enough deal that the guys actually respond, he won. You know, because you can't, like, the thing is if you make some ridiculous, outright, ludicrous claim, they're not going to fucking respond to you. They're not going to make some kind of like video response. So it has to be at least close enough to where they felt like they needed to respond. And, you know, there's a Goldilocks zone there where he might be like, here's what I'll say. He might be trolling. Like, Guru might have been doing this intentionally to get reactions, which would be fucking brilliant. Because honestly, you know, am I going to say I've never said something on the channel that I thought would get a lot of attention that I didn't necessarily think was for sure true? I don't think that I could deny that and being honest.
Looked like a closed fist from his angle. It's crazy how quickly he was in there to stop this. But fair play, Usman complains about the wrong eye completely. Whatever, you know? He's complaining about the right eye when that wasn't effective whatsoever. Interesting after being hit by a good straight left and a head kick, I'll be honest. We move on to 22 minutes and 18 seconds. Here is maybe the weirdest thing I've ever seen happen in champion.
Now, this one I have a response on for sure. Because he's missing, like, Guru misses a huge, huge data point here.
Championship history ever. And all of these things are within one fight. I'm going to play sound for this as well. Usman sticking his fingers out there as Covington's trying to close the distance. This is Covington with a broken jaw, by the way. He's trying to fight back with a broken jaw.
So gangster.
Usman sticks his fingers out there as Covington comes in. This is illegal. You can't do that with your fingers. That's illegal. You literally can't position your fingers in that way. That should be a warning from the referee. And he does it here. And that's fingers in the eyes.
100%.
That is fingers in both eyes of Colby Covington right there.
100%.
You can see it clear as day. The fingers come out. These are the fingers outstretched from Kamaru Usman. It's like a claw of a hand. And it goes straight into the eyes of Colby Covington. And you can see them burrowed deep in both eyes of Colby Covington here. Look at the fingers. 2 fingers there, right into the eye of Colby Covington with an open hand as Covington lands a left hand on Usman's jaw and hurts him a little bit or lands a good shot on him. I keep saying hurt or wobble. I'm using it very loosely. But that's an eye poke in both eyes. Covington complains to the referee about it. He's just poked me in the eyes. And what does Goddard say in this moment? Hopefully you can hear this loud and clear.
Time. Listen, come here.
Time, listen, come here.
Listen, Colby, listen.
He keeps saying, listen. Listen
to me.
Usman's just poked Colby in both of his eyes. Remember how fast he was in there to stop Colby from going and doing anything after a little finger may have touched the left eye of Usman when he was complaining about his right eye. Think how fast he was in there to give Usman a break.
Okay, now I am convinced that he's trolling, and this is fucking hilarious, actually.
Here, come here.
Come here.
Okay, no more timeouts. Let's go.
No more timeout.
Okay, so okay. Hang on, let me...
Outs. Championship bout. He's just been poked in both of his eyes with his jaw hanging off. That's Usman's doing. Credit to Usman. But he's got his jaw hanging off. Round 4 of a championship bout. Everything on the line. No more timeouts.
Okay, so here's the thing about that. So, yeah, now I'm pretty sure that he's trolling, dude. But because there is a section of that that's not in it. Because that's not shown in this. I just watched this 100%. Is he goes, guys. I know it's chaotic. I know we got to do dirt. Everybody keep your fingers in. Okay, no more timeouts, and goes. Okay, so check this out. The reason that he did that and what's missing from context is because this is in the 4th round, right? This is the 4th round right after, when Colby got his jaw broken. Colby got his jaw broken literally at the very end of the 3rd round. It's like the last punch thrown. Okay. So what happened at the end of the 3rd round is Usman hit him with that shot. It was like, I think he had his hand out this. So he's like, boom. And he hit him with the shot. And the other hand, like, I cannot sure, whatever. Bottom line is got hit with that nuclear shot and then went like this. And Colby immediately after the round was over was complaining about getting poked in the eye, and the round's over, right? Like the round was literally over and he had just took that shot to the jaw. And so he's complaining to Goddard, like about a poke to the eye after the round was over, So it's kind of like, it was like, so that's what this was about. That's why he's like, no more timeouts, is because Colby had just complained about an eye, and maybe he did get his eye poked. I don't know. I haven't looked that close at it. But the reason he said no more timeouts is because Colby was complaining about an eye poke after the end of the 3rd round, right before this round. So it wasn't like there was no context at all. And he just was like, no more timeouts and nothing had happened. It was because of the in between that last round and this round.
The only one who's had him is Usman for arguably faking a groin shot. And although a little finger connected with his left eye, arguably a fake.
All right,
right.
Let's get to this part though, because this is important. This is the most important part of the entire
forward
video.
In lower installment volume for this bit. Usman's dropped Colby twice. And what does Usman do to finish Covington? Marc Goddard can see this, by the way. He gets himself into a good angle to see it. Let's watch this right now. Back of the head shots are illegal in MMA. He sees the back of the head. Goddard is watching this happen. He's in an angle to see this happen. Bang! Straight to the back of the head of Covington. Goddard is squatting to watch this happen. He's assuming a watching position. He's squinting. He's getting a good look of this. Back of the head shot from Usman. And again, back of the head shot from Usman. Bang! Straight on the back of Covington's head. Goddard has watched both of them and has said nothing. And then Covington starts trying to defend, move himself. Usman lands a punch around the side. For a championship bout, I don't know about you guys. He tries to sprawl here, get his hands together. He starts moving his hands to get a better grip of Usman's legs. Usman starts sprawling himself out, landing to the chest and the head. Another back of the head shot there from Usman as well. Another back of the head shot from Usman there. That's 3 in this stoppage sequence so far.
4.
Boom. Right to the back of the head again of Colby Covington. Another illegal strike.
Boom.
And again,
another one.
And then Covington starts protecting the back of his head from being pummeled in. Blocks a shot, and Goddard steps in to stop the fight.
Yeah.
Ridiculous.
Okay. So that's it. So that's all of it. So here's the deal. So I'll just summarize all of it. I think the claim about the groin shot is a nothing burger. Like Kamaru faked like he got kicked in the groin. There's nothing there. I think that the speed that he jumped in there to get in between Colby and Kamaru when Kamaru had just gotten rocked and went for the eye is like complaining that he's doing too good of a job as the ref. I think that the eye poke with Colby, and he's like, hey, no more timeouts. If you watch the full fight, you'll understand Colby had just made a thing in the third round. But the only thing that really matters is the stoppage. And I completely agree with him on the stoppage. Like I completely like this. When you watch it in fast motion, it looks worse, actually. Like when you watch it in without it being in slow motion, it looks worse. Like I was watching, I'm like, dude, all he's doing is hitting him in the back of the head. That's all he's doing is hitting him in the back of the head. Now in fairness, like, so yeah, bottom line, like from a bottom line perspective with that little time left, you know, and you could also kind of say like, look at how many times Kamaru had been fouled and they stepped in and gave him time to recover. And now Colby is getting fouled repeatedly on the back of the head and you're not giving him time to recover. Like that is certainly a valid argument, you know, especially when there's only a minute left. And the rounds were extremely close. Colby won I don't even know. Like I was listening to the announcers on this and they're like, you never know what happened in the first round. I'm like, fucking yeah, you do. Colby for sure won the first round. What the fuck are you talking about? The second round was super quick. It was super close. Probably Kamaru. Third round, definitely Kamaru. Fourth round, definitely Colby. And so you might have a 3-1 Colby, maybe. And you might have a 2-2. And then Kamaru would have won the fifth round. So, so the whole point is if you have a bad stoppage right there with less than a minute left, like that's it's not just like a random that was a really close fight. There's less than a minute left. I understand. But that said, and I do believe like he got hit in the back of the head, like out of like 8 strikes that he threw, he hit him in the back of the head, at least 4 or 5. Now I saw that Marc Goddard and Hardy invited him to do like the refereeing course or whatever. Okay. Well, I could just say outright, I haven't done the refereeing course. So like, if you get hit like right here, I honestly don't know. Like, if you get hit right here behind the ear, I don't think like that's like, I don't know where the back of the head starts and finishes. Like so it's possible that some of those were not back of the head strikes. But he certainly for sure, in those first 2, those were straight to the back of the head. But also you got to keep this in mind. Like the referee's a human being. They're not like a fucking, like a, what do you call it? Artificial intelligence bot, like they're a person that's reacting and trying to weigh a bunch of different things. And the shot that Colby got hit with to get into that position was fucking nuclear, dude. Like Colby got fucking rocked with that shot. And he's holding on, he's trying to hold on, and like, I don't know. I mean, like, and you saw Goddard, like after those first 2 back of the head strikes kind of go in, but you can't really tell whether or not he was going in to stop the fight or potentially say those back of the head. I have no fucking idea. And then the last thing Guru said is he said that like, I'll show you guys this actually. Cause he said that Marc Goddard is smiling through this sequence. That's ludicrous.
What expression you think this is?
This is ludicrous. It looks.
What is the expression creeping onto the face of Goddard, who, by the way, I've seen an interview of him, seems like the type of guy to be against some of the stuff Covington says. All I'm going to say.
I will say, if there was bias, it's certainly where it came from, I'm sure. But like,
what is this facial expression as Usman beats the back of the head of Covington in at the end of this fight and finishes him? Is that a smile?
Listen, you guys tell me, dude. Does that, you feel confident? Would you bet your life that that's a smile? Like, would you bet your fucking life on it? If I had your hand on the table And if we flip him around, he's not smiling. You let me smash it like it's fucking casino in the back of the casino. You know what I mean? But the point that I'm trying to make here is it doesn't matter. Like Guru wins anyway. It does. I mean, he wins either way. I personally just watched that entire fight. I watched the thing in advance. I watched the whole fight. The only thing that I saw where I was like, is the stoppage. I mean, the stoppage was, he's getting hit in the back of the head. I have no idea how often that happens or what, but but yeah, I mean, he certainly could have stepped in and been like, no shots to the back of the head. Yeah. But yeah, like I said, I mean, dude, whether I agree with him or not, he got fucking Dan Hardy and Goddard to respond to him. He wins. And I got Sean O'Malley to respond to me today. I win. There's no, you can't lose from there. So, yeah, I would say my overarching take is I don't see any proof of just straight up bias. I see a potential bad stoppage. That's it. What else is going on? What else is going on in the world of mixed martial arts right now? But yeah, let me just really stress this one thing again, that the no timeouts thing, for 100% sure, that had directly to do with Colby after the third round doing his thing. Oh, wait, fact check. Jesse, O'Malley didn't respond to Jesse? All right. Why don't you go ahead and just go to my videos, click on the one that says Sean O'Malley is not what we thought, and then just look at the pinned comment. It's one of those things where you can just check for yourself. Is that Sean O'Malley's account? How is this me shitting on Guru? I literally just said he wins no matter what. Let's say you had to bet. The big pinned one. There you go. Boop. It's an O'Malley burner account with 500,000 subscribers and all of his stuff. It's pinned. You guys go check it out, dude. Here, we'll do it like this. Boop. 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 And fuck me. I can't click on it like this. I can't do it. Here. Boom. Whoops. So fuck you, son. Oh no, Sugar he just said that he watched it and gave me a fucking yeah, boy. Anyway, but yeah. I mean, look, dude. I would have, I don't know. Let me see. How many views did this video get that he did? Yeah, I mean, his video got 60,000 views, and he got the guy to respond to him in video form. You can't lose, dude. You win. Like you win. Right now, I'm just adding additional victory on top of it. Now I will say this, and I've said it before and I'll say it again. I don't understand why people are fucking hating on Colby, dude. I really don't like the fact that it's like the fact that it's even something that you have to entertain, that like people are like that upset at Colby, where it's like, well, he might be like smiling, and again, I'm not saying that he was, but then you got like, like I did the video about this the other day, like Dan Hooker and them, you got a high, I'll slap the shit out of him. You're like, Dan, has Colby ever talked about Dan Hooker? It's like, no, he's like, he just thinks he's a bitch. It's like, really? Like, I mean, I don't know. Maybe it's because I'm American. Like, I just assume everyone knows, like, people say things they don't mean because it's going to help dictate success in the thing they're doing. Like, if MMA Guru makes a video and selectively edits a bunch of shit so that he can say Marc Goddard rigged it in Kamaru Usman's favor, if maybe he's not like 100% sure about that, and yet Goddard and Dan Hardy do a 90-minute response, like, did Guru benefit from the thing that he did? Like, you know what I mean? I don't know. I always just look at outcomes. It's like, oh, so Colby Covington said blah, 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 and now he sold blah, 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 pay-per-views. I'm like, all right. It's the Trump stuff. Hooker is a leftist. Do you know that for sure? Selectively edited in that, just in terms of like, I don't know. I mean, selectively edited means he picked certain things to show. He didn't leave anything out. The only thing that he left out was the end of the third round was relevant to to why he was like, no more timeouts. That's the only thing. But yeah, I mean, exactly. This is exactly what I always talk about. Like, unless you genuinely hate, like, unless you hate anyone that supported, Trump, that you hate him, that like you hate all of them the same. Like, I guess I can understand that. But if it's like, if you're really just watching Colby Covington, he's all cum shot Chimaev, and they're like, oh my God, the fucking audacity of this guy calling him cum shot. Unreal. It's like, dude, come on. Come on. Come on. I want to see Colby versus Hamzat, but apparently he's going to 85. And maybe that means he really did miss weight by 8.5 pounds. Who knows? It's hard to say. I will say, you know what? I'll show you something that's really funny. In case you guys haven't seen this, look at this. Hold on. Oh, shit. That's not right. Hang on. Watch this. Oh, he's live. Well, look at that. All right, hang on. Look at this, dude. This is so funny, dude. Dan Hardy, I'm sorry, mate. It's gone. It's gone. On my conscience, I can't compound your psychological state any further. Mark has invited you to do his refereeing and judging course in October for free. He really should do that, though, dude. Like, it's, like, honestly, if they really did offer him to do it, he should do it. Those are good relationships to have. They'd get in person. They'd get along. Dude, they'd be friends. It's really informative. Help you understanding misconceptions. Hope you're okay, my friend. Not hurt yourself. Like, what? I mean, I don't know what their interaction was. I have no idea what their interaction was. But, I mean, that, dude, look. Even if he wanted to troll it, dude, you go and you just bring a camera. Have someone film it, dude. A fan with a camera? I'm a fan with a camera. But I don't, like, there are like there are probably like 8 people that I would want to interview. Darwin, thank you very much. Could you see the UFC overturning a fight result based on video evidence after? And of course not. No. Well, I mean, I don't know about like never, but certainly not like this, dude. Certainly not like this, dude. Keep reading it. All right. And then, so then he said, hang on. Yes, of course, calling out the fact that Goddard disallowed Covington a break for an eye poke in a championship fight must make me a suicidal. Yeah, but the thing is, Colby didn't even complain about that. That's Colby didn't complain about that. Like, Colby was ready to go. Like, when he was like, okay, no more timeouts, Colby was like ready. He wasn't like, hey, man, I need more time. Come on, Daniel, I'm a big boy. Let me see the video. I need a good money chuckle. Also, the course sounds fun, but I'd rather not waste the UFC 280 build learning that an eye poked fighter needs a break. The headshots are illegal. Why not repost the video of your arguments against my points if it was so correct and informative? Yada yada. You're still the best analyst in the game. I agree. I really do. I think Dan Hardy is the best. I do. I think he does the best job. Anyway, I'm out later.